A pyramid graph, often referred to as a population pyramid, is very good for displaying data like population, where you have sequential groups that you want to compare two different categories. Here, for example, I have data for the population of Iceland. This is for 2024, and I have each age group. This is the population in millions of males and females. And to make a population pyramid, it's essentially two bar graphs turned in towards each other. There is no specific command for this in DataGraph, but we're going to build this using two bar graphs. So let's go ahead and first add the bar graph for the, there we go, for males. We'll select that data, create our bar graph, and I want to turn this on its side by changing the type, sorry, to a Y bar. And I can also reverse the X direction. So that's the left-hand side of my pyramid. To create this, to have two bars side by side with each other, we will use a split axis. I'll split the x-axis to create another region. And actually, I'll just go ahead and do an option drag to clone this, change it from male to female, and move that to the right-hand side. And there it is. There's my basic population pyramid. A couple of formatting things I would do here would be to change my colors. I also like to remove the lines. I think, again, that gives, the outlines on these, that gives a nice modern look to these. But a really, really important pro tip if you're making a graphic like this is that to compare these properly, you have to make sure that you have the same range on your X ranges of both sides. First of all, just looking at this population pyramid, you could see that this would be kind of considered sort of a heavy area of the population, where if this were a very stable population, you would see a straighter line here, and then eventually a decreasing population with age. But in any case, the patterns that you see here are really useful for understanding the populations. But again, you got to have the same x-axis range. So to do that, here is a pro tip for you, because I can go into my axis settings and there's options for including values in my range and changing the padding. But to do this, to make sure that no matter what data I paste in here, I will have the same range on both sides, I'm going to actually make copies right now of both of these, and I'm going to swap them and put them on the other side. This is going to make sure that now you can see my range on both sides is 20, and then I'll just hide the ones that I don't want to see. I can also place this in a group and just kind of say these are hidden. In fact, by grouping commands, you can also just say to hide all as an entire group. That makes it easy to turn them on and off if you want to show things or not show them. But in any case, this is a way to create a basic population pyramid and make sure, no matter what data you put here, that you will always have an equal range on both x-axes.